Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the plot. I've had a really tough week, not been up here this week very much, but I do have a little bit of time to talk about this apple tree that you see behind me. I'm going to be harvesting the apples from this and I'll give you a few little tips and tricks. Hopefully you'll find that useful. It's looking a bit scraggly, but pay no mind to that. Also ignore this is a cherry, this needs to come out. Now, the first thing to ask when thinking about apple harvests is, when is your tree ready to be picked? Some, like the mystery variety I have on the allotment, are ready to harvest at the end of August, while some, like Braeburns, might not be ready until November. But you can't tell just by looking at the calendar. Seasonal variations and other factors can change this. There's a few key ways to check though. The first sign, other than colour change, like I've got these beautiful red apples, might be windfall. Now, in the height of summer, apple trees are likely to lose a lot of their fruit, and this is a natural process. They'll get rid of what they know they can't grow, but that's very different from the windfall that you get when the apples are ripe. Now, if you look on the ground around your tree and there's lots of good size, properly coloured apples, then it's likely that the tree is ready to harvest, and you might have missed a few. Now, as a rule, anything you find on the ground is going to have gone bad, but we've had some really stormy weather over the past few days, and there's quite a few healthy, ripe apples that have been wind-blown, so I can harvest those as well. The second main way is to look at how easy it is to twist off the apples. To test this, you lift the apple, taking the pressure off the branch, and you twist it no more than 360 degrees. If it comes off easily, it's ripe and ready to be picked. If it's a bit more stubborn, then it's best to leave it on for a bit longer and don't risk shaking the branches and making a load of other apples fall to the ground. Of all the ways there is to check that your apples are ripe, the most obvious is, of course, oh my god, that is really good. Oh, they're so sweet. But it is, of course, to taste them. So you might be able to see there's still quite a few apples on this tree, and that's because those are the ones that aren't quite ripe yet. This is the side that gets a lot more shade, and the ones that are in the sun will ripen quicker. So you might have to do 1 or 2 or 3 harvests from your apple tree. You can't always get it in one go. Part 1 was kind of about harvesting, but the next part is about storage. Now, it's really, really important that your apples aren't damaged. And an easy way to damage perfectly good apples is to chuck them around when harvesting and bruise them. After using the lift and twist method, they have to be placed very carefully in whatever you're storing them in. If they bruise, they can start to rot and easily spread this to the other apples. And an interesting thing about storage is that, as a rule of thumb, the later that your tree ripens in the season, the better those apples are going to store. What size is that one? So ripe apples that you're picking in November are likely going to store really well, whereas these early apples I'm picking, they're going to have to be used within a couple of weeks. As you're harvesting, you'll have to be on the lookout for bug damage. There's lots of boring insects. Not boring, all insects are interesting, but you know, they bore inside the apple and they burrow in, and for the most part, the insects I've got today, they're really small and you can easily cut those affected parts out, but those apples wouldn't store so well. Another thing to be on the lookout for is any signs of rot. Now, botrytis is a common sight. It's a fungus, a grey rot, that will affect a huge range of your garden plants. Some years are worse than others, but if you do see it on your apple tree, don't panic. I had quite a lot this year, but as you can see, I've still got quite a good crop of apples. There's not too much you can do about it unless you want to start using fungicides and that kind of thing. So that's it from this side. It's amazing how many of these I'm actually finding on the floor that have just blown off, that were just ripe. One more side to do, let's get that done. Well, there we go. I think think that just about does us for today's video. It's not the best harvest, but there's enough here to make a little bit of cider. I wish I had the equipment for it, but I'll probably be giving these away to someone who does have the equipment. We're moving house and all that stuff. It's a whole palaver. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please remember to do all the YouTube stuff below. And yeah, as always, thank you ever so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.